Hello friends, I am Dr. Poonam, PGT Assistant from KV number 1 Harni, Vadodara. Here we are going to study the chapter Power Sharing, the first chapter of class 10th Political Science. First of all, we will discuss the topic power sharing. What do you mean by the term power sharing? Power sharing is a political arrangement in which different or opposing groups all take part in the government together. Here, power is being shared between different organizations, as like legislature, executive, and judiciary. Legislature, executive, and judiciary, which becomes important to the design of democracy. Power sharing helps to reduce possibility of conflicts between the social group. It also ensures the stability of political order. Here we will discuss how it reduces the possibility of conflicts between the social groups and in which way it ensures the stability of political order. Now, we will discuss the story of two countries. In this country, we will see in which way the power was being shared and what was their criteria, in which way they handled their power sharing and what was the impact. First, about the Belgium. Belgium is a small country in Europe. It is small in area than the state of Haryana. It has border with France, the Netherlands, Germany and Luxembourg. It has population of a little over 1 crore, about half of the population of Haryana. The ethnic composition is very complex. Country is small, but its ethnic composition is very complex. First, the word ethnic. Ethnic is a social division based on shared culture. Of the country's total population, 59% lives in Flemish region and speaks Dutch language. 40% population live in the Wallonia region and speak French. Remaining 1% Belgian speak German. In the capital city Brussels, 80% people speak French while 20% are Dutch speaking. Here is the map. Belgium. In Belgium, in the Flemish region, there were the population of the Dutch-speaking people. It was 59%. In Wallonia region, French-speaking people population was 40%. German-speaking people were 1%. And Brussels, 80%. It was opposite. 80% people were speaking French and 20% people were speaking Dutch. In this way, Dutch-speaking were in majority in the country and the French-speaking had majority in Brussels. It was opposite in the whole city and in the capital. The minority French-speaking community was relatively rich and powerful as compared to Dutch. The Dutch-speaking resented this as they got the benefit of economic developments and education much later. It created conflict between these communities. So due to this, the Dutch-speaking and French-speaking communities were in tension during the 1950s and 1960s. And this problem was very much more in Brussels. Now about the story of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a neighbor of India, has a diverse population. It has about 2 crore people, about the same as in Haryana. Single speakers, their percentage was 74%, they were in majority. Tamil speakers, they were 18%, they were in minority. Tamils were in 2 subgroups. Tamil natives of the country are called Sri Lankan Tamils. The rest, about 5%, whose forefathers migrated from India as plantation workers during colonial period, are called Indian Tamils. Tamil speakers were divided into part 13% Sri Lankan Tamil and 5% Indian Tamils. 18% Tamil speakers. Majority of Indian Tamils are in north and east of the country. Most of the Sinhala speaking people are the Buddhist. They are following the religion Buddhism, while the most of the Tamils are Hindu or Muslims. Christians were both Tamils and Sinhalas are about 7%. Now, about the majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka emerged as an independent country in 1948 from British rule. Just after 1 year of India's independence. Leaders of Sinhala community favored the majority community over the minority, as they were in 74% in ratio. As a result, Sri Lankan government took series of majoritarian decisions to establish Sinhala supremacy. It was a condition, as Singhalese were in majority, and their decision was final. In 1956, an act was passed to establish the majority of Singhalese. First, it recognizes Singhalese as the only official language, thus disregarding Tamil. It recognizes Sinhala as the only official language, thus disregarding Tamil. The government followed policies that favored Singhala's applicant for university positions and government jobs. University positions and the government jobs were fixed for Singhalas, and a new constitution stipulated to protect and foster Buddhism. They were protecting their Buddhism. They were protecting Buddhism. They were not supporting Tamils their religions. These policies created a sense of insecurity among Tamils of Sri Lanka. They feel inferior. Their effort to persuade all major parties and government for autonomy and equality was rejected. They were not given right to equality in university and in government jobs. As a result, the tension between the Sinhala and the Tamil communities aggravated. Conflict increased between these two communities. The Sri Lankan Tamils launched parties and struggled for the recognition of Tamil as an official language, for regional autonomy and the equality of opportunity in securing education and jobs. Now Sri Lankan Tamils struggled for equality in in university post, university and jobs. However, their demand for autonomy was repeatedly denied. Their demand was denied. By 1980s, many political organizations were formed demanding an independent Tamil alum state in northern and the eastern part of Sri Lanka, the area where they were in majority, and the distrust between the two communities turned into a civil war. Their power sharing was not equal. That resulted into civil war. Now, what about the power sharing in Belgium? The Belgian leaders took a different path. They recognized the existence of regional differences and cultural diversities. Between 1970 and 1993, they amended their constitution 4 times so as to work out an arrangement that would enable everyone to live together within the same country. They solved their conflict in a different manner. The arrangement they worked out is different from any other country and is very innovative. Here are some of the elements of the Belgian model. The constitution prescribes that the number of Dutch and the French-speaking ministers shall be equal in the central government. Dutch-speaking and the French-speaking ministers will be equal in the central government, as Dutch-speaking were in majority and French were in minority, but they were given equal proportion in the central government. Many powers of the central government have been given to the state governments of the two regions of the country. Some powers were given to state government. Third, the Brussels has a separate government in which both the communities have equal representation. In Brussels, the capital of the Belgium, where the French were in majority and Dutch were in minority, but here both were given equal representation. And the last, the most unique, apart from the central and the state government, there is a third kind of government. This is community government. And this community government is elected by the people belonging to one language community. Dutch, French, and German speaking. No matter where they live. They were given equal chance. This government has the power regarding cultural, educational, and the language-related issues. Now, what was the outcome? In Belgium, leaders have realized that the unity of the country is possible only by respecting the feelings and the interests of different communities and regions. Unity of the country is possible when you respect the feeling and the interest of every community and every region. Sri Lanka shows us a contrasting example. It shows that if a majority community wants to force its dominance over others and refuses to share power, it can undermine the unity of the country. When the power is not shared equally, that results in civil war. Now, why power sharing is desirable? It reduces the possibility of conflict between the social groups, as like Belgium. Power sharing is a good way to ensure the stability of political order. It is a spirit of democracy. It is a spirit of democracy. Democratic rule involves sharing power with those affected by its exercise and those and who have to live with this effect. But power sharing, when there is an equal power sharing, the democracy runs in a better way. Prudential reasons stress that the power sharing will bring out better outcomes. It will maintain peace in the country. The moral reasons emphasize the very act of power sharing valuable. Last topic of this chapter, the forms of power sharing. In this chapter, we'll discuss the four forms of power sharing. First, horizontal distribution of the power. The power is shared among different organs of the government such as legislature, executive and judiciary. And each organ checks the others. No one is given the enormous power. No one is given the enormous power. It allows different organs of the government placed at the same level to exercise different powers. Such no organ can exercise unlimited power. Each organ checks the others. Vertical division of power. Next form is a second form, the vertical division of power. Power can be shared among government at different levels. Central level government for the entire country and the government at the state or local level. Third form of power sharing. Power may be shared among different social groups such as the religious and the linguistic group. The community government in the Belgium is a good example of this arrangement. Community government in the Belgium is a good example of this arrangement. Reserved constituency is another example. Fourth form of power sharing. Power sharing arrangements can also be seen in the way political parties, pressure groups, and the movements control or influence those in power. In a democracy, citizens have freedom to choose among the various political parties or the independent candidates to form the government.